Alright, y'all. So I know I said I wouldn't probably record my house again, but I lied. We're playing it boring today. We just got a salad. So I went to Walmart and bought like the Caesar salad, like where you make it yourself, but I didn't use the Caesar salad dressing because apparently that's not as good for you. So I did lettuce, and then I did some Parmesan, and then I did balsamic vinaigrette, which I've never had before. I did a little finger test, and it was actually pretty good. So I'm gonna mix this up, and we're gonna get into this. I'm actually, let's see, it's kind of hard to stab, but that is good. I meant to throw some chicken in here. That is completely my fault. I meant to throw some chicken in here. Let's do some chicken chunks. Trying to find pieces that aren't huge. Okay, I did like 3 chunks. Also, my drink today is water, but it has flavoring in it. It's like tropical something flavor. I don't know. Today is like day 4 of the Texas snowstorm. It's not snowing anymore. The last time it snowed was last night. That should be the last time it snows, but all the snow and ice is still on the ground, obviously. I'm trying to eat healthier. Yesterday, I gutted my whole house of everything. I literally emptied my fridge, the pantry, the cabinets, everything of stuff that is bad. And today I went to Walmart and just replaced everything with healthier stuff because I'll be honest with y'all, I've gained 10 pounds in 6 months. That to me is ridiculous. But we're gonna work on that. Now, of course, there's some rules and stipulations here. If you know me, you know I love Diet Coke. What I've decided to do is if I want to drink a Diet Coke, I have to drink 2 bottles of water. That way I'm still getting my water in. And also, you know, I do food reviews. I don't know why that light is flashing. I do food reviews. So if like somewhere releases a new item, I'm allowed to cheat and eat that item and review it for TikTok and YouTube. Because one fast food meal, it really would. It'd be like 1 or 2 fast food meals a month. I'd like to think, isn't gonna stunt or reverse any of my progress. Today, all I did today for like 4 hours was my dad like made this little contraption to where like a rope was like one end was on his trailer hitch and the other one was on a board that was attached to this little kiddie pool that we have, and like this plastic kiddie pool, and me and my younger brother were in there, and he was driving us around and turning and going fast and stuff like that. It was actually really fun, but I am already sore, and I know I'm gonna be sore tomorrow because we live on a few acres of land, so it's not just flat the whole time. There's bumps and there's hills and stuff like that, so yeah, I'm definitely gonna be sore. Okay, I finished the salad. Normally I would end the video here, but someone suggested something in one of the comments of one of my last videos. I'm sorry, I forget who you are, but credit to you for giving me this idea. They suggested that I read stories off of Reddit and stuff like that. So I'm gonna do that today. I have my iPad, I have it right up right here. Okay, am I the rude guy for being glad my sister-in-law's baby looks like her dad? Also, I want to say I didn't fully read these, but I skimmed through them a little bit, so I'm kind of in the dark here. Okay, let me give some context. My sister-in-law is annoying. She has a boy and I have a girl. She was always trying to say my daughter looks like she could be her daughter, and that her son and my daughter look like they could be siblings. She would always take pictures and say, this is what I would look like with 2 kids, which was annoying to me. I'm always being told that my daughter looks like her dad, which she does, but she is beautiful nonetheless. Now she had her second child, a girl, and guess what? Guess what? Her daughter looks nothing like my daughter. Instead, she looks like her dad, so she's not that cute as her dad is not that. People, come on. Like, for real, I'm about to get mad. Am I the rude guy for always pointing out that she looks like her dad the same way their whole family had constantly told me my daughter looks like her dad? And no, I've never told her that I think her child is ugly and nowhere near as beautiful as my daughter, but I think it's pretty evident. I think it's just karma, and I love it. I don't think necessarily because I mean, you have years of taunting from your whole entire family, or your sister-in-law's whole entire family, which I guess is still your family. But I really wouldn't say you're in the wrong here, to be honest. You're just kind of, you know, giving back what they've been dishing out for years now. I think you're in the clear. Am I the rude guy for saying something to my neighbors about not shoveling my elderly neighbor's driveway? I lived in a cul-de-sac for 4 years. Every year when it snows, and it doesn't snow much as I am in the DC region, my 8-year-old daughter and I shovel my 80-year-old neighbor's driveway. She is a widower who lives alone and is unable to do it herself. She has no children. My issue is we are surrounded by at least 7 other able-bodied adults in our cul-de-sac, and each year they don't do a single thing to help her. Today, as I was shoveling her driveway, my neighbor finished his and said goodbye before he went inside. I asked if he would start helping me with hers, and he laughed and said, all the other neighbors know that shoveling her driveway is my thing. I said it was really awful that he wouldn't help an elderly woman who can't do it herself, and I wonder how he would feel if it was his mother. He just shrugged and went inside. I am livid. We are getting up to 13 inches of snow, and I will be outside multiple times today shoveling 2 driveways. I wonder if I'm the rude guy, because it's my choice to help her, but I can't help but feel let down by my neighbors. Anyhow, just curious, what do you all think? I think you and your neighbors are under no responsibility to shovel your neighbor, like your elderly neighbor's driveway. Odds are, if you're getting 13 inches of snow, you have absolutely no reason to get out of the house. You are under no obligation to shovel the driveway. If you're getting that much snow, you just stay inside. And especially if you're 80 years old, you don't need to be driving in general, especially when there's snow and ice. I definitely don't. I think, yeah, you're being a little dramatic for being mad at your neighbors for not helping, because it's not their job, it's not your job. You're choosing to do it. Don't complain that you have to do something you volunteered to do. That doesn't make sense. Am I the rude guy for breaking up with my girl? I broke up with my girl and told her to be quiet and stop fake crying, but I believe I'm not the rude guy. She smokes and vapes, and we're still in high school, so my parents don't like it. I have gotten in trouble many times before for doing this, and for a whole year she was blackmailing me for dating when I wasn't supposed to and threatened to leak me if we ever broke up. She also texts multiple guys and stays over at her boy best friend's house almost every other day. Worst thing is she plays with my feelings like crazy. She pulls me in to push me away, if that makes sense. I just want to know who's the rude guy in this situation. I think she definitely is. You know, giving you the benefit of the doubt that you don't also smoke and vape and blah, blah, blah. But she's doing it. You don't like it. You're trying to set those boundaries. She doesn't respect those boundaries. She's trying to blackmail you for dating when you're not supposed to, and threatening to leak you, which if that's like leak as in like leak pictures that aren't appropriate of you, that's a crime. She texts multiple guys a day, stays over at her boy best friend's house. Now, I am a firm believer in, you know, guys can have girlfriends, girl can have guy friends. Like, friends are friends. Like, if they're actually friends, they're actually friends. Like, gender doesn't play a role in that, I don't feel like. She's playing with your feelings, stuff like that. It's obvious. You don't even have to ask. It's obvious that she's in the wrong. Am I the rude guy for considering separation? I am a 30-year-old male and my wife is a 36-year-old female. We have been together for 10 years and have 2 children, ages 5 and 7. Early in our relationship, we were very physically intimate and affectionate. We had sex frequently, and there was lots of hugging, kissing, cuddling, flirting, and sexual communication, which I valued because physical touch is important to me. Over the past several years, our level of physical intimacy has significantly decreased. We rarely have sex, and when seeing if she is interested, there's usually a reason given, such as being tired, not feeling well, or the kids. She no longer initiates physical affection or sexual interaction, and when I attempt to initiate or engage in flirting or sexual communication, it is generally not reciprocated. I discussed this with her multiple times. She has stated that she is still attracted to me and still loves me, and that she does not feel there's a problem. From my perspective, the lack of physical affection and intimacy is an ongoing issue. A recent example was when our children were staying with a family member and we had the house to ourselves, but no intimacy occurred. Physical touch and affection are important to me and feeling connected in a relationship. My wife is a stay-at-home parent, we rarely argue, and we both prefer to stay home rather than go out often. Aside from this issue, other areas of relationship are genuinely stable. Okay, I can understand his frustration. They started dating 10 years ago, so he was 20, she was 26. Before they had kids, they were very active sexually and affectionate, but, you know, they had kids. I think that's kind of a given. Like, you have kids, obviously you're not going to be able to be as affectionate and stuff like that because, you know, the last thing you want is your kids walking in on you. I think you can't really give her that much crap for not wanting to do stuff with you, because at the end of the day, you know, it takes 2 to tango. You can't get mad at someone just because they don't want to do something you want to do, you know, whether that's sexual or just in general. I really don't think anyone is in the wrong here. I understand, you know, his values physical touch and stuff like that in a relationship, But at the end of the day, you know, she doesn't want to do it. She doesn't want to do it, you know? You can't really hold that against her. Am I the rude guy for breaking up with my boyfriend because he asked for a threesome? I, 19-year-old female, have been in a relationship with a 21-year-old male for about 3 months, and we are both each other's first serious relationship. I view myself on the asexual spectrum and have been very hesitant about sexual experiences, but he is very open about experiments, so we have been experimenting a bit. I trust him. However, yesterday he asked me if I would ever be down to try a threesome. He didn't specify gender or if he knew a person. I just assumed he asked in general. I froze, and then the sirens in my head started ringing. I said that I had to leave, and he got extremely worried and told me he wasn't going to force me to do anything I didn't want to do, but my mind was too big of a mess to have a serious talk with him. I'm now thinking about sending him a text. I know that is extremely cowardly, and I should probably just tell him in person, but I can structurize my words better when I write them down. This is what my issues regarding the threesome are. Number 1, he wants another person in his bed. Yeah, I know, jealous and possessive girlfriend, and he just wants to try stuff out, but it makes me feel like I'm not enough for him, and that hurts. Okay.
Alright, let's get our blocks. Come on. Look, it's an alligator.
Sorry, I had to take a brief pause. My TV just started playing YouTube. I don't know what's happening. Number 2, I think sex bonds. Sex is love. I do stuff with him because I trust and love him, and because it gets us closer, not just because I want an orgasm. A threesome reduced the whole act to lust, like he wants a one-night stand over a girlfriend. I've read somewhere that men think differently of sex and can have it without the emotional involvement, but I think it would kill me if that was also the case for him. Sorry, I can't read. I think intimacy is such a treasure and it is so fragile. I was scared of showing my naked body to someone for years, but with him it felt so easy. So I'm okay with being intimate with him, and only him. And suddenly he wants another person involved. That makes intimacy not special anymore, not appreciated. And that is my biggest point. It kills me that he doesn't view this the same way. Asking for a threesome is not a reason for breakup, but the meta level behind it. The fact that we don't perceive sex and intimacy and emotional involvement the same makes me feel like we are not compatible together. I don't think I can forget about this if we ever get intimate again. I don't think this can work out anymore, but that would break me because I seriously love this man. I don't want to leave him, and at the same time, I feel like people would think I'm overreacting. Okay, so you view yourself in the asexual spectrum. You've been very hesitant about sexual experiences, but you feel you trust him, so you experiment a little bit. Here's the thing. Men are gonna be men. You know, they can say, you know, I'm a lover boy, I'm a nice boy, nice guys always finish last. You know, I love you for your personality, not your body, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, I mean, let's be serious here. A guy, especially freshly in a relationship, 3 months relationship, you're still in that honeymoon phase. The only thing that's on his mind is having sex. I think it's great that he came to you first and asked if you were comfortable with it before being like, hey, I brought my friend Stephanie here. We're about to have a threesome. I don't think there's an issue with writing a text. Sometimes it is easier to, you know, gather your thoughts when writing them down. Because, you know, if you're talking, you don't want to accidentally say the wrong thing and then, you know, kind of portray the wrong idea. I think the whole he wants another person in his bed thing is kind of weird because you're gonna be involved in it, you know. And in the experience, surely you can implicate like a safe word, like, hey, you know, pineapple, I don't like that you're doing this to him or you're doing this to her. I do agree that sex is a very intimate and personal experience. You're kind of just bearing your soul to each other. You know, humans have evolved to wear clothes. Like, pretty much our natural state is clothed. So being with someone nude, I mean, that's obviously, you know, there's some kind of connection there. I do agree that intimacy should be treasured and it is fragile. I don't know. Once again, I'm going to say neither one of them are really in the wrong. I don't think she's in the wrong, mainly because, you know, she's right to feel the things that she's feeling. I agree with majority of the things that she's saying, but also you can't really hold that grievance. You can't hold a grievance against him and break up because, you know, he was open with you about it. He didn't try to do anything sneaky behind your back. He asked you if you were comfortable. You know, you said no, so it's not going to happen. So I think, and if unless he keeps pushing and pushing and pushing, then there's an issue. But if that's not the case, I really don't see a problem here. I think that this is just an obstacle that y'all can both easily overcome, especially if you're as comfortable with him as you claim. Am I the rude guy for slapping a teenager? I, 32 female, was at a water park this last weekend with my husband, 32-year-old male, and my daughter. We were in one of the pools practicing swimming and keeping to ourselves. There was a group of teen boys there, and while I was working with my daughter on swimming, one of them came up behind me, and I felt a tug on the strings of my top, untying it. I spun around, saw this 15 to 17-year-old with a smirk, and slapped him. This quickly caused a scene. The park staff got involved, as well as the boys' parents who were livid at me. My husband and another lady saw it happen and confirmed that he really did grab my top. There was also cameras around the pool that kind of show it. Wasn't the best angle. The boys' parents threatened assault charges, and I threatened sexual assault charges if they decide to go that way. Eventually, we were both asked to leave and haven't heard anything since. My husband, though, still thinks I overreacted a bit, which I think this is a completely valid reaction. You're a girl, so you're already the cards aren't in your favor. You're a girl, you have this little, teen punk who thinks it's cool to, he probably watches Andrew Tate and thinks, women are objects and stuff like that. So I don't agree with your husband at all, saying that you're overreacting. I don't think that's true at all. I think that was a perfectly appropriate reaction to someone literally taking off, exposing your private parts to the public. I see no issue. I walked in on my daughter and her gay best friend. My 16-year-old daughter has had this best friend since she was 13. She swore up and down that he was gay, and honestly, just meeting him once, yeah, he looked and acted gay even at 13, and he seemed like a good kid, and they had many sleepovers together at each other's houses. I never thought anything of it, as they always had other girls with them. Now, I'm a single widowed dad, and it's just me and my daughter in the house, and yesterday I wasn't feeling good at work, so I left home early. I came through the garage, which leads you directly into the living room, and is also kind of soundproof, and I walked in on my daughter and her best friend completely naked, having sex on my couch. He basically got his clothes on and ran out of the house, and my daughter hasn't left the room ever since, not even for school, and she refuses to speak to me. And now I'm just scared because how long has this been going on? Is it like a one-time thing, or has he always been lying to me, and have they always been dating this whole time? Right now, I feel used and lied to, and I'm just hurt. I always thought I was closer to my daughter than to have her lying to me like that for years. Okay, your daughter's 16. Obviously, 16, 17, you're hitting puberty. Hormones are all over the place. You're, probably being more sexual, trying to be more sexual. First of all, sex with a teenager is a completely normal thing. Now, what I wonder is, why was your daughter not comfortable with the fact saying that, that friend actually wasn't gay and that they were dating? I wonder why she had to hide that from you, or why she thought she had to hide that from you. Obviously, no one wants to see their kid doing that on the couch. Is disrespectful from the daughter, I will say, for the daughter and the best friend, really disrespectful. But I also think this is a perfect gateway to, tell her that if she doesn't know, what she was doing was completely normal, which it is, and that I'm sure she's had the birds and the bees talk already. She's 16, but let her know, what you're doing is normal, and to make sure that it's safe. They are still being safe, wearing condoms and stuff like that. And understand why he feels hurt, because, his wife passed and his daughter's kind of all he has left. But I wouldn't take it personal. Kids are sneaky. Strict parents raise sneaky kids. So, like I said, I wouldn't take it personal. I think I'm falling out of love with my husband. I don't need advice. I just need to lay everything out for myself. I've been with my husband for the last 4 years, married for 1, and he is changing in ways I don't enjoy. He's picked up smoking, and I said I didn't like it, but he doesn't care. Same with vaping. He has this bad habit of asking me if something is okay after he's already done it. He's constantly insulting himself. He calls himself fat and gross and lazy, and I hate it. But no matter how much love I show him, he never stops, which I can understand. He never helps me cleaning, cooking, and genuinely anything. He just plays video games with our roommate all day. He keeps saying he wants kids, but then he thinks all babies are ugly, and he keeps saying he's gonna teach our kids bad things. I hate that so much. He's not violent, but he's easily angry. He yells a lot when he's upset, and literally anything upsets him. I don't want to have his kids. I don't even think I want to be with him anymore. I love him so much, but every cigarette drag, every mean comment about himself, every angry outburst, every comment about him hating kids It all makes me love him a little less. I genuinely cannot leave though. I have no family, I don't have a job, I don't have a car, I don't even have an education above high school. I gave up my entire life to be with him, and I've just ended up serving him. Okay, he's picked up smoking and vaping. You don't like it. Once again, that goes back to your partner not respecting your boundaries, which is a big red flag. They're fishing for compliments by calling himself fat and gross and lazy. That's obviously just for you to feel pity for him, so you will continue, doing the dishes and cleaning and stuff like that. He knows what he's doing, and he knows that he can get away with it. He never helps cook and clean, just plays video games all day. I'm assuming he has a job, since you don't have a job, so I'm assuming he's the breadwinner. Says babies are ugly. I kind of agree, most newborn babies aren't the best looking, but some grow up to be fine. Saying he's gonna teach your kids bad things, that's a red flag too. Especially if he's this angry with around your kids, if you had kids around those years where the major parts of their brain are developing, that's a big no. I wish she kind of went into more detail about the bad things that he wanted to teach their kids. He's not violent, but he's easily angry. He yells a lot when he's upset. I'm pretty sure that still falls under that domestic violence umbrella. It starts out yelling and screaming and getting angry, and it, eventually when he's gonna lose his temper one day, he's gonna snap. That goes for anyone that really can't keep control of their emotions. They just can't. You don't want to be with him, but you still love him. But all these things make you love him a little less. But you kind of screwed yourself because you don't have a job, you don't have a car, you don't have an education above high school. I mean, he knows that you depend and rely on him, so he's gonna keep doing this stuff and getting away with it. Like, you really screwed yourself. You have to start thinking about the long haul, Obviously, you're deeply in love with this man. You think, oh, nothing could ever go wrong. But, now I bet you wish you never thought that, and that you had a game plan just in case. Always, always, always have a game plan. Always have a backup. I ghosted a girl after intercourse because I didn't have money for the plan B. Backstory. Me and this girl have been talking and vibing great. We hang out, things go good, we have fun. She leaves and goes home. I stay up and go on a vicious gambling binge that was partially started while she was over. The next day, she asked me for money. I have to make up a lie and say, something is wrong with my bank, give me time. She gets mad, thinking I'm trying to make her pay for her own plan B, and I'm not caring about her. So I gaslight her into thinking that it's not a big deal and just to buy it herself. I then ghost her and stop responding. I did all this because on the gambling binge, I lost all my money that night, and if I hadn't, I would have sent it. So a girl I liked, actually, I had to ruin it from me gambling. I hate myself for it. I couldn't tell her I'm a gambling addict, so I just lose her. Sucks. Okay, well, I think the gambling problem is just the tip of the iceberg. First of all, when you're having sex, wear a condom or, pull out. Don't get someone pregnant or even risk getting someone pregnant if you're not ready to have kids. If you're not financially ready or mentally ready, both of those. Do not do that. Don't even risk it, because you're playing with someone's life, essentially. And then you just straight up saying that you had to gaslight her into thinking it's not a big deal. So that means you admit that you knew it was a big deal, but you had to gaslight her into thinking that it wasn't. I think you're completely in the wrong. I think you're a bad guy. I think you're a horrible person. You can't use gambling as a crutch to excuse your actions. She didn't make you gamble. You lost your money because you're an idiot. And you didn't want to take care of this girl, and you put yourself in the position to where you had to take care of this girl because you're an idiot. So maybe get some responsibility. I'll give you props for admitting that it's ruined from gambling, but that's not the whole story. That's not. There's lots of underlying stuff here that you need to work out. All right, that was different from what we normally do. I ate a little bit. I read a little bit. Let me know if you liked this kind of video. This will probably be a longer video because I read some stories. Let me know if you want longer stories, shorter stories, more stories, less stories, stories of certain themes, like genres, whether that's confessions or, asking for advice. Just let me know if you are interested or not, or what you want to see. But yeah, I had this video is actually pretty entertaining. I got some reading in too, so I'm kind of benefiting here. I might not have been the most complex and intricate and intelligent words and knowledge, but it's still reading nonetheless. I take that as a win. I'll take what I can get. Okay, I will see you when I see you. Bye.